Well, I'm sure, Semra, you three in the studio and everybody watching all around the world has enjoyed it as much as we have. For 25 minutes out there, we saw one of the all-time top Liga Santander battles. It was absolutely fascinating stuff. Atletico, I think we unanimously feel, just about edged it until on 28 minutes, a moment of madness from Diego Costa, who got himself sent off, left, even worse, left his teammates with 10 men against one of the top teams in world football for over an hour, and it was astonishing really how Atletico were able to hang on until inside the last 10 minutes, when finally a little piece of magic from Luis Suarez, another little piece of magic from Leo Messi was enough to finally beat the brilliant Jan Oblak. But Atletico, I think, leave the Camp Nou tonight with their heads held high. They know that this La Liga campaign is over for them. They're going to finish it without repeating their title of the 2013-14 season. But I think Simeone, you could see in his words in the flash interview post-game, felt that he was proud of his players. I'm not sure how happy he was with Diego Costa, but they certainly put up one heck of a fight. I think what we want to do really is, if we look at those opening 25 minutes, or 28 minutes, look at some of the performers, because quite frankly, Steve Archibald, Atletico were dominating, weren't they?
Yes, they were dominating, Simon. They were the strongest force on the pitch. I think their game plan out of the two clubs, their game plan was the best. They were technically very good. They were blocking out Messi. Tactically, they were very good for that reason. They were fit. They were strong. They were defending well, attacking well. Everybody in every position was doing what they had to do. It was just like a complete performance for the first 28 minutes to knock Barcelona completely off the stride.
They were strong at the back, Graham. They were threatening up front. They were dominating things in midfield. I thought Koke, Saul, Rodri and Thomas in those 28 minutes more or less dominated. One or two chances coming early on. They didn't really get two clear-cut chances. But who would be the names you would select from those opening 28 minutes to really underline for Atletico?
I thought that Jimenez not only had one of the best games of his athletic career, but started the night in exactly the right way to set a template for how to anticipate Messi, how to close Messi's space. And then what happened was that people answered him around that performance. As you pointed out, Saul got in front of Messi, so with Jimenez right behind the Argentinian, trying to turn him, trying to anticipate him, denying him space, not allowing him, if he ever touched the ball, to turn or step away lightly. Saul in front of him, Koke making sure that he was supporting his midfield companion. That all went absolutely perfectly. And even in the chance you mentioned when Alba hits the post, if you think about Oblak's positioning there, he makes it extraordinarily difficult in the one-on-one, probably guides Alba such that he's too far out to tap the ball in off his left foot and it hits the post and goes away. I thought that there wasn't a man until Costa got him sent off, not one man in red and white who was dipping his level before underneath an 8.5, 9, not just individually, in strategy, in unity, working to the manager's plan. And I go back to what I said in company, I meant it. They believed. And I think that's absolutely classical. If you come here against a good Barcelona side, and you know, they weren't at their best tonight, but they make the pitch big. And Steve used a phrase that you won't hear often. Steve said, listen, Barcelona don't know how to win this.
Yep.
That was largely down to Atleti's belief and the strategic plan that their manager designed, and they all bought into.
Well, Graham's mentioned several Atletico players who he says 7 or 8, 8 or 9. I'm giving him 10 plus because it really was a dominant performance. But he's also mentioned the Jordi Alba attempt that hit the post. Philippe Coutinho had a shot well saved from Oblak as well in that opening 28-minute spell. Did Coutinho impress you, Steve, on the evening? He's been questioned a lot this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I've questioned him, and I question him again tonight. And I think Graham mentioned in commentary that he should have been off before he came off.
Yeah.
It was a late substitution. He wasn't impressive. He had one chance, I think, in the first half where he does a little dribble into the box, gets a shot. Oblak saves it down to his right hand post, which was good. But he should have built on that, and he didn't. So he just settled back into the way the whole season has gone from, and just quiet, not working hard enough, not understanding what's demanded at this club, and not understanding the importance of this game tonight for me.
Okay, 28 minutes, Atletico dominant, and then came the moment of madness from Diego Costa. We can all imagine what he said. We think we've got a fairly clear idea from lip reading, the referee's response to Costa's insult. We're not going to go into details of exactly what he said, but Graham Hunter, you weren't particularly impressed with the Hispano-Brazilian's reaction.
No, we go into details, and it's exactly what I argued at the time it was. Gil Manzano, and he has a tendency for this, doesn't see a foul and wants the game to flow. Now, whether you agree with him or not, there's so much analysis done by clever teams like Atleti before that they say to you, this is what the referee's like. He'll let this go. For example, Mateo Laws, what the first thing you say? Well, he plays advantage. So what you do is, if you're not given the decision, you don't let that temper rise. You don't scream abuse at him. Now, whether you agree with Costa or with the referee about the original foul that Costa's claiming, right, once he loses his temper and screams that abuse at the referee, he deserves to go off. But go back a step. Elite players get warned about how to react if you're angry, and it's to take it out by winning the next challenge, by going past your man, by drawing a foul. I'm really, really, really unimpressed with Costa in that incident. Fairly impressed by Piqué, who tried to calm him down and keep his Spain teammate out of further trouble. Steve,
you were mentioning at the time that footballers tend to use bad language in the heat of battle, that referees are used to hearing certain levels of insults. Everybody knows that the actual insult used by Diego Costa isn't meant to be taken literally. How did you feel about the expulsion? Because it really clearly changed the whole game, didn't it?
It had a massive influence in the game, of course it did. And of course I'm not saying it's okay for Diego Costa to do something like this or say something like this, but with the enormity of the game, the referee's got to take that into consideration, and obviously it counted against Athletico Madrid. It left them with 10 men, made their life much more difficult. I think that indiscipline of Costa obviously cost the team the game and the points on the night, but the referee's got to take it into consideration, and we all do it. I did it, we all do it, we've all done it since day one, shouting and swearing at the referee. It's all been done. I'm not condoning it, far from it, but if they're going to do it with one player, do it with everybody.
Which would change the way the game is played, for sure. OK, that was on 28 minutes. After that, actually, Atletico were absolutely magnificent. They really delved deep to find a heroic performance. Correa came off the bench, and I felt he was magnificent. Jimenez, as Graham said, was absolutely superb in defence, throwing his body on the line, winning all the challenges, anticipating. Leo Messi was having a tough old time of things because of how well 10 men plays for Atletico, but it all changed in the 82nd minute. Luis Suarez with an absolutely brilliant finish. You can argue whether Jan Black could have done a little better or not. He'd put in a magnificent performance all evening as well, saving everything that was thrown his way, except for Suarez's moment of genius. It's an absolutely brilliant finish, Graham.
Well, it's hard to say why this goes under Oblak, but he's diving at full length. When you see it from this angle, you say, OK, that's good. When you see it from this angle, watch it go from out to in. That ball is outside the post even now. It's spinning all the way. It goes down and underneath him on a wet pitch. Listen, Steve used to score goals like that, therefore I'll give the final verdict to him. I'd be really hard pushed to blame him there. He gets near it. He can't see it because when he's diving full length like that, the ball is under his arm. I think he thinks he's done enough. I think he thinks he's going to touch it and save it. But what you do count on is that's extraordinary technique from Luis Suarez at that stage of the game to pull out brilliance when he couldn't score one-on-one about 10 minutes before that, when Oblak produced one of the saves of the season.
OK, it was just a couple of moments after that Leo Messi really put the nail into Atletico's coffin with a little piece of Leo Messi magic. Absolute brilliance once again, Steve.
Yes, it was. He picks up the ball. It's a breakaway. He breaks into the box. He loses it, kind of, gets it back, and then he drags it across the area. Everybody's got to go with him, including keeper, and he knows he's leaving that space, and it's just a little clip back, and it's just something that virtually only Messi can do.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Steve Archibald. Graham Hunter, it's been an absolute pleasure here to share these moments with you in the Camp Nou. Thrilling game of football. What a shame that Atletico had to play for so long with 10 men. We'll be paying very close attention to the match report of referee Gil Manzano to see what he actually says. Atletico sources do insist that Diego Costa says he did not insult the referee. But then again, he would say that, wouldn't he? That's all from the Camp Nou. Back over to you, Semra, Terry and Pete. Final score here, of course, 2-0 to Barca, 11 points the difference at the top of the table.